talk about the trade-off between AI security and competitive advantage. And I've been traveling around the country the last few weeks doing a lot of speeches in different areas. Usually it's groups of CEOs or CXOs, let me just put it that way. And we talk about different topics. And one of the ones that is pretty prevalent right now is how do I move forward with AI? Because I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it, but there are several cases. The security team or the legal team says, we got to have security, we got to have a policy, we got to have all these things, and we have to enforce that. And a lot of those things may not be in place at this point. So what I decided to do is try to give you an idea of the why would you do this, okay? And so if you look at this picture right here, uh, early adopters are in the green, okay? And this is an exponential curve. And if you remember, you go back to algebra in high school and it was y equals x squared. That's what this curve looks like. And this is the guy that started November 30th, 2022. If they're back here and started maybe a quarter later, they might catch it if it's a pure exponential growth, okay? A 10 to the x growth. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the dilemmas that different people have as they are coming in to be able to balance that security problem with the problem of accelerated growth and competitive advantage. And I see I have my friend Oliver Villacorta. Sorry, Oliver. And Oliver, you want to introduce yourself because you bring a ton of credibility to this conversation.
Yeah, sure thing. My name is Oliver Villacorta. I'm over here at Smith and Howard. I lead our site.
With reference to personally identifiable information, PII data, make sure that you anonymize it, or company data, make sure you anonymize it. Very, very, very important. Now, you can go all the way and get a private instance of AI that you as a company have, and you could get that from AWS or Azure or Google or several other providers that are out there, but that will allow you to keep the data private. And anybody want to comment on that has a lot better knowledge than I would have on that? Okay, Oliver, I know you know something about that, and I know other folks in here do as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it just depends on what the risk of your organization is. Um, if you're in a regulated industry like healthcare, finance, et cetera, just understand that that's going to be under a different scrutiny than say if you were like say a nonprofit or something along those lines, or just have less of a sensitive data.
Mhm.
I think just thinking about it, starting with that is important. It's understanding the context of your organization, like what sandbox you play in, and then
Right,
from there you can pick and choose what's the correct path for you.
exactly. Now, who wants to make a comment on once you have that done and you have it, I'll say to some degree locked down, how do you ensure that everybody in the organization plays by those rules? You tell them don't do that, but is everybody going to hear that, or maybe they were out sick the day that you passed out the policy? What do you do? We talked about that yesterday in a group session where some people wanted to take a stick and just beat the crap out of the people. And at some point, you may have to do that, but hopefully, you would have a policy that everybody in the company would adhere to. And so, if you don't have a security policy as it relates to IT or a risk policy as it relates to AI or IT, I would suggest that you think about getting one of those put in place. They're not terribly difficult to do. It takes a little time, and then it's a communications plan on how do you communicate that across the organization. And one of yesterday we were in in an organization, and it was funny. They were a MSP, so they managed services for other companies, and I was trying to get outside their firewall to be able to run my LLM model for a demo. And they said, "Oh, well, we decided we can only use Copilot internally. So we locked every other AI model down and we people can't get to it." But the president of the company was in there and he said, "Just a minute, I can unlock."
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay, so Oliver is going to go in and he's going to do a SOC audit. Let's say it's a SOC 2 audit company. And they're going to, and I'm going to use an arbitrary, all these numbers are arbitrary. Okay, just so everybody knows. Oliver's going to go in and he's going to do this audit, and it's going to take 1,000 hours, and um, he's going to charge $200 an hour for this, and the company's going to assign 10 people to work with him for those 1,000 hours. Pretty good so far. But all of a sudden, Oliver says, "Wow, I have this tool, this really advanced AI tool that will allow me to do this in 500 hours and give exactly the same quality output that if I did it manually or the old way, it was going to take me 1,000 hours. I've just reduced the number of hours that I have by half. So instead of should Oliver bill the $200,000 of his original bid, or should he only bill half of that? So did the value of what he just did